On the banks of the Red Cedar.
There's a school that's known to all.
What's up, Spartan Nation? This is Huddle to Hardwood. You're home for Michigan State basketball, coming off a huge win against
Massive
Purdue last
win. Let's
night.
go.
Huge win. My name is Holden.
And I am Jacob, and welcome to your new home. Today, we're going to be talking about a few different things to go over over the topics a little bit. We're going to go over our overall thoughts of the game. We're going to go over some elite play that we had from our players. We're going to go through some positives, some negatives, and then we're going to look ahead at the remaining 3 games of the season. But before we start, Holden, I got some things I want to throw your way. What if I told you that Purdue shot 50% from three? They out-rebounded us 27 to 25 and only had 9 turnovers. If I told you those before the game, if I told you that before the game, who do you think's winning, Purdue or Michigan State? Yeah, crazy. And to make it even better, Michigan State only had 6 turnovers the entire game. In the past couple of games, we've had 6 turnovers in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm also gonna say one thing I love about this team, as much stuff that I've talked about them in the past, this team always survives and always adapts to the circumstances. Wisconsin was a little different, but for the most part, they always survive and they always adapt. And one thing I noticed is that they play to their competition, no matter if they're like really good or really bad. They always play to their competition. That could be a positive or a negative. But with all this information and knowing we're survivors and we're physical, truly in your heart, after this huge win, how far do you think this team can go in March?
It's hard. I mean, you really never know with Tom Izzo coach teams. Um, I would say, I mean, it is a big win. You're riding the momentum right now. We've gotten two top 10 wins in the past like 2 weeks or so. Um, it's tough to say, depending on seeding. Obviously, we don't know what that is yet. I'd say, I mean, our ceiling, I mean, we always have a chance to make the Final Four. I'm not going to sit up here and say that we are going to go to the Final Four. If I have realistic expectations, I feel like we could get to an Elite Eight situation, depending on who we have in our bracket. I feel like we can get to a similar situation like we did last year. I'm not necessarily going to hop on too much of a hype train right now and say we're going to go to a Final Four, but it's certainly possible. But if we keep the play that we've been playing, like take out the OSU game recently, obviously, we still won that game. But
Yeah.
if we play as hard and physical and as connected as we did yesterday, I think we have a great chance to make a run and just build that momentum. But what about you? How do you feel about it?
If you asked me a week ago, I would have told you I don't think we're making it out the first weekend. Um, just the last month and a half of play was really disappointing. And I said this pregame. I said that this game mattered more than just the seeding because it was a confidence booster. We haven't had a good road win all year long. And with this road win, it gives us the confidence going into the last 3 games of the season. Now, I think I don't think this is a national championship contending team, unfortunately. Hurts to say that. However, I do think under the right circumstances in the right region, we could make a Final Four. Now, we don't know the situation yet, but if we play like we did against Purdue, and I don't know if you knew this either, but Purdue is ranked the second best offensive team in the country, and we can't pretend like our defense was phenomenal yesterday. It was good, but Purdue shot the crap out of the ball. They shot 50% from three and we still won. It comes down to physicalness and toughness, and we just absolutely had that. And if we play that like that every single game, this is what I've been begging for. Like if we came out like this against Michigan, if we came out like this against Wisconsin, who knows what could have happened, you know? So for me, if we come out with a fire underneath our butt every single game, like we did this game, I don't think there's a game we can lose because I mean, like we just saw, we can beat the we can beat anyone when we play like that. But I don't know. I think our ceiling is Final Four. If I had to pinpoint exactly where we go, I think I think we make it to at least the Sweet 16 at a minimum. And yeah, I'll say Sweet 16 at the minimum with Final Four as the ceiling. But to move on, what were your overall thoughts of the game?
Yeah, I mean, just through and through, I think it was just a very competitive and very entertaining game, back and forth the entire time. I finally don't. I mean, there was some bad calls here and there, but I don't think it's one of those games where opposing fans could go into the comment section of any social media or anything like that saying, "Oh, refs versus Purdue, refs versus this person." Like I mean, there was some questionable calls throughout the game, but I don't think the refs really like did anything to influence the outcome.
So to add on
Um,
to that, when like all I've seen on Twitter, that's the main social
it
media
always
that I can
is.
see on.
Whoever loses, it's just
Well,
refs versus.
I'll say this. When I was on Twitter, I had not seen one Purdue fan complain about the refs. Every Purdue fan was complaining about Matt Painter's play design and Braden Smith's shot. And a lot of Purdue fans are just talking about how they feel that their players don't care. They feel like that they just go out there and just going through the motions. And that's where I've seen a lot of the Purdue fan base right now. So usually, like whenever we have a big win, like when we saw against Illinois or whatever, it's usually refs, refs, refs. But like Purdue was the first game that I've seen in a while where a team loses and they're not blaming the refs. So that was kind of nice to see that a fan base actually, you
I
know,
just think it was straight up. It was just a straight up win. Like it could have gone either way. I think whoever would have won would have deserved to win the game.
yeah,
It was just back and forth, super entertaining the entire time. And just that aside, like just massive win. Like it felt great to get that game after
yeah.
not winning at Mackey in 12 years, losing 8 of the last 10 to them. We beat them last year at home, but other than that, like usually they have our number and they beat us. So it just was incredibly satisfying to win that game. Um, and one thing I would like to point out too, both of us had this game being a 2 point game at the end. I was really, really close on my final score prediction. I predicted Michigan State 73, Purdue 71, ended up being 76-74. So I was only off by 3 points on either side. So we were correct on the spread. Also, something that I'll pat myself on the back for, as I was correct about the matchups coming into this game. I think Cooper did a phenomenal job on guarding TKR all game. He held TKR to 10 points and just had him in a box most of the game. Whenever we didn't, just I'll talk about it later about the unnecessary double teams. I feel like whenever that happened, then it broke down a little bit. But
Hmm.
Cooper, I think, had just a phenomenal overall game. I had those matchups correctly, even though first half was a little rough. Jackson and Clough kind of got what he wanted in the first half, but after that, he kind of fizzled out. But I got the matchups for the most part correct. And Fears spent a lot of time on Braden Smith for most of the game, which I liked. Those two were going at it, even though Braden Smith didn't want the smoke and he didn't guard Jeremy Fears himself. He just sat and let and guarded Cohen while he was just sitting in help side, letting Cohen sit the perimeter. So I don't think, I mean, Braden Smith in my eyes didn't want the smoke. Jeremy guarded him. Braden Smith didn't want to guard Jeremy.
We know
And
who the
then
best point guard
other
is.
than that, I just want to say RIP to the 7'4" center, Daniel Jacobson. Um, Unfortunately, we might have ended his basketball career on two straight possessions with Cohen Carr and Carson Cooper just getting back to back posters on him, just absolute bodies. Cohen Carr skied over him, 6'6", over 7'4", absolutely put him on a poster. Don't know why you're jumping with Cohen Carr. And then next possession right after, Carson Cooper spin move, turn around, reverse jam, and one ran in his head. Just two back-to-back plays, and what did they do? Instantly took him right out of the game. We were dunking all over the place. I think Cohen had three himself. Obviously, Cooper's dunk. I think Cam had two of them. So this is where we insert the TikTok dunk edit you'll be seeing later on our TikTok page. But it was just a really fun game to watch. So what about you? What are your overall thoughts and takeaways from this game?
such a great game from the start. They were in it from the start, and I said in our preview too, if Michigan State went down 10 at any point, I didn't think they were gonna win.
They got close. They got
Michigan State did not go down 10 and we won. So they Purdue got
It
out
started a
to
little shaky though. You might not remember. It was
Oh
nine
yeah,
to
yeah.
two very
Yeah,
early.
Purdue came out pretty hot. We scored the first bucket of the game and then they went on a 9-0 run. And then at one point I believe it was 14-6, which was their largest lead of the game, I believe.
It was 13 to
And
6.
it was
I'm
what?
sorry. I was gonna say it was I have this written down. It
It
was
was
13 to
13, not
6.
14.
Yeah, it was 13 to 6, and then we responded with a 10-0 run. And then that's when it like leveled out, and then it was back and forth for the rest of the game, pretty
Yeah,
much.
so we came out a little shaky, but it was nice to see that we didn't just fully tuck our tails between our legs and went and hid in the corner. This team fought back. This is exactly what I wanted to see. We were led by the people that needed to lead us. I mean, Jeremy, I'll get into it a little bit more, but phenomenal game. Our guys came to play, and it was really nice to see. And going in there knowing our team hasn't won in 12 years at that place, I mean, it doesn't really necessarily affect the guys playing right now because they weren't a part of that, but it's still part of our program, so part of our
Mhm.
culture. And it was nice that we came in and played great in a hostile environment. It makes me a little more confident in March knowing that we can play those tough road games because we have not been able to prove it since. Because, like, win against Oregon at Oregon, not very impressive. Washington, not very impressive. Minnesota, we lost. Rutgers, we should have lost. Like, we had really bad games on the road. So it was really nice to me to see that this team can do it on the road. Um, I guess we can get into our next section, which is the elite play. Would you like to start the elite play?
Yeah. So, as Michigan State fans like to say, when this dude scores or does something good, whoop! That boy was balling today. Balled his last two games has been our best player on the
Leading
floor.
scorer back-to-back games.
Leading scorer, leading rebounder back-to-back games. He's just been playing phenomenal. He did pretty much everything. Like I said earlier, sweet dunk. He was they didn't for some reason they didn't respect him enough. I mean, he's turned it on this year a lot. His development has been crazy. Probably one of the best development stories you've seen out of a time as a recruit. Like very low. I mean, he wasn't even ranked. He was on the
Real
IMGB
star.
team. IMGB team, like we had. I mean, we've heard this a million times on broadcast, but from to come from where he was his first 2 years, like not being able to catch the ball whenever someone dumped it off to him, like we were scared for him anytime that he was in the game. So last year he improved a lot from his first 2 years, and then this year he's made an even bigger jump, and he's just been incredibly consistent. But I was gonna say he had two straight like on crucial possessions, back to back possessions where they didn't or Purdue didn't like respect Cooper enough to send more help into the paint. When every time Jackson gets the ball, he's double teamed. But back to back plays where it was just 1v1, Carson Cooper and Oscar Clough just brought him down to the post, got to his spot, just did back to back turnaround jump shots and nailed them each time. With those two, he was doing great on his little turnaround hooks. He made some tough hooks on the baseline that didn't necessarily think he was going to make. Put him in, had one nice on the left side that he made, but
Hmm.
all around he was just he had a great game, great defensive matchup against TKR. Like I said, held him to 10 points. He was holding his own. Like TKR was he really couldn't get past Cooper. Did a great job defensively. How do you think Cooper played today or yesterday? Excuse me.
Dude, Cooper played phenomenal. If I was being honest, I had no expectations coming to this game because usually once we play big guys, with the exception of like the Illinois game, Cooper is usually nowhere to be found, both offensively and defensively. And it was nice to see that our senior stepped up tonight. He brought it right to them on offense. To start the second half, he backed down Clough and did kind of like a fadeaway jumper in the paint. And I mean, to have that confidence against a dude that big,
He did
because
it twice in a row. what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
two possessions in a row. And to have that confidence, like where has that confidence been all year? And I really enjoyed seeing that left hook you were talking about was so nice. I just thought overall he played phenomenal and he's one of the major reasons we won. And defensively, man, like he had TKR in a cage. Like he
Yeah.
was going nowhere. He had nothing. And I don't know if you noticed at the very end when they had the inbounds ball or they were inbounding the ball to try to tie the game. Their first look was TKR in the
At the
paint.
end when they were trying to
Yeah.
win it or try to, okay.
To tie it, their first look was going to be TKR, and they were looking for him, but Coop had him locked down. He was fronting the hell out of him, and he had no chance of getting that pass through, and Coop saved us that game. Like I know Braden Smith ended up missing the shot, but the reason that they took such a bad shot was because Coop was locking up in the paint. So it was super nice to see. Moving on to Jeremy. He started off a little rocky, but he proved once again how he's an elite player in the Big Ten and the country. He started off a little slow, but once he hit that and 1 3, he just from there on he was so good. And he was going downhill every single possession and he was creating space. And I know he had 6 assists and it doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. However, he's still creating even if he's not getting that assist because he's driving, kicking. If that guy's shot's not there, guess what? Another swing, boom,
I was
shot.
gonna say when he was going downhill and driving, I mean Braden Smith did it a lot too, but they were so good at driving to the hole, looking like they're gonna shoot. They have a shot, someone comes over and then last second dish it over, kick it out. Like he was making a lot of those. He likes to drive, go up, and he had a couple nice dishes to Cam Ward that went up and finished with it. He's just yeah, I mean he was doing a great job going downhill and distributing all game.
Yeah, he was just creating. And it was nice to see him play with intensity on defense, play
A
with
great
aggression on
defensive.
offense, and just be a leader of this team. And he wasn't flopping. Like he was actually playing basketball. And it's amazing what he can do and what our team can do when he doesn't flop and he just plays basketball. So what are your thoughts about Jeremy?
Yeah, like you said, I like the way that he was aggressive and actually driving to the hole, creating for others like he always does, but creating for others in a way where it's just not sit up on the 3-point line, use a couple of screens, sit and wait for something to open up. But he was the one being assertive, making the defense collapse. And then if he didn't really score like a lot until that second half stretch where we were playing well and he scored a lot, but he was still doing a good job throughout the game, getting down, driving downhill, and then kicking it around. I thought he did a great job defensively on Braden Smith. Braden Smith shot 4 for 10 in this game, shooting 40%. Only scored 12 points. I was surprised. I knew that Fears was going to guard him this game, but I figured it'd be a lot more evenly split between him and Scott. But I think Fears carried the bulk load of guarding Braden Smith all game, and I think he did really well. Granted, Braden Smith had double-digit assists, but I'd rather Braden Smith have double-digit assists and a lot less scoring.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think he did a great job. I think he did a great job, you know, controlling the pace of the game. He was a big part of us not turning the ball over as much this game. He did a great job on,
protect.
valuing the basketball. So I think that was big.
Valuing our possessions too,
Yeah.
because we've had a lot of careless possessions in the last few games.
And it was important in that game because it was a game that it was just back and forth the entire time. Like you could not afford to waste a possession because then the other team would just go back and because like it felt like pretty much any time that we made a big shot, took the lead for a second, got some sort of momentum, Purdue came right back down and hit a three or something, and then it was right back to where it was at. So like we couldn't afford to have multiple possessions in a row where we were not getting buckets. So I think he did a great job. The whole team as a whole just doing a great job in valuing the basketball and taking every possession like it's your last. And then after Fears, I just want to give huge, huge, huge props to Mr. Kurt Tang off the bench. We needed a big spark off the bench in this game. A lot from the last couple of games. It's just all of the pressure has been on our starters to provide everything and not getting a lot of contributions off our bench. Kurtang had a great game. He's our second leading scorer, 13 points. He was 3 for 6 from three. Um, and there's one stretch in particular that I wanted to touch on that was a massive turning point for this team. From the 13-minute mark to the 11-minute mark, Kurtang scored a personal 8 points in that stretch and had a massive steal that led to Cohen Carr's windmill. Just a huge, huge, huge momentum swing. He had just a nice little pull up that he ended up missing, but he got fouled, hit both free throws. Then next possession down, he had a nice corner three. And then I don't think it was necessarily eight in a row, but in that 2 minute stretch, then he had a super deep contested three that Carson Cooper kicked out to him and like towards the end of the shot clock and just nailed it. So I think that 8 points, and then after he hit that three, that's when that steal happened and that windmill, and then that's when we got like the huge momentum swing, and I really felt confident going into the rest of the game. But Kurt Tang, I can't speak enough about. It was just a great overall game from him.
Yeah, you pretty much hit everything that I had thought about Kerr, but to get some props to another member on the bench, Cam Ward, I believe he had 8 points
Four for
yesterday.
four from the field.
Yep.
Yep, 8 points.
8 points. He was very aggressive on the boards. One of his buckets, I didn't even know he had this in his bag. He literally drove it downhill and just got a layup. And I didn't even know he could drive like that because he's just been in the paint all this time. And then defensively, I mean, dude, he played phenomenal defense. He was even in at the end of the game, I'm pretty sure, instead of Jackson, um, which speaks volumes because Jackson's been a 4-year player, senior on the team, and to put a freshman that gets not very many minutes in the final minutes just shows how much he was playing well yesterday. And I just want to give him his props because, especially on the defensive end, man, he really showed up.
Yeah. No, I
But
agree. Yeah, he was doing a great job defensively, rebounding, and had really important buckets that we needed. Like I said, can't waste a possession, and he remained aggressive. He was in the right spots for those dump offs. Huge drive that he had. I think he saw the mismatch because I think that Benter guy was on him. I think Cam's got some size on him. He's a little bit more athletic, so Cam saw that matchup. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to go downhill and score. Would love to see that more out of him because if he can get that out of him, he can spread the floor, that'd be awesome. He's not necessarily a shooter, but if he can spread the floor and be a threat to drive off the wing, that'd be huge.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, that was a great overall game from him. And then the last person I want to touch on is my boy Cohen. 11 points, 5 rebounds. I think he had 6 to 8 of his points just off of straight dunks. And I will always say that Cohen Carr dunks might say 2 points on the scoreboard, but they feel like 6 to 8 points and just straight momentum swing and feel to the game. All his dunks were just electric in this game. I think the dunk that he had over Jacobson was, I mean, this is hard to say, just the dunk package that we've seen from him the last 3 years, but I think that's a top three, top two, even maybe his best dunk that I've seen of him. Because typically no one jumps with Cohen. Like if you see Cohen coming down the lane, like teams will get out of the way and just give it to him, let him do his thing. But Jacobson, one, has almost a foot on Cohen Carr, and he went up full and jumped on him, and Cohen just came straight from the baseline and just back scratched and just dunked right over him. It was just electric, like got me jumping out of my seat. And then obviously he had his windmill off of Kerr's steal. He had another sideline dunk off a fast break. Just those like though what that does to our team is just so underrated. Like I said, 2 points on the scoreboard, but it's just something completely different. It feels like every time something like that happens, we go on a little bit of a run. But what do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think about Cohen?
I really liked the way he played aggressive today. I liked it from all the players. Cohen played really well off the bench, or not off the bench, but starting the game, he played really well. Electric dunks, dude. When he went up on Jacobson, I thought he was gonna lay it up and they were gonna call a foul. But the fact he went full body, brought it back, and then went, I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. That was just an insane dunk. Defensively, I thought he played really well. Um, yeah, I mean, he just came really big for us, and it's kind of what I've been expecting out of him all year. And he's been playing really timid, and I really hope he continues this momentum into the remainder of the season because we really need them. So moving on to the positives, what are some positive things you saw this game?
Yeah, touched on a couple of them already with Coop and Kurtang. Talked about Cohen. One big thing we touched about a little bit, but I'll just go into a little bit more detail. I think we did a great job overall on their two guarding their two best players, Smith and TKR. I think we, for the most part, other than Braden Smith's, ability to distribute the ball, I don't know how much you're able to stop that or anyone's able to stop his ability to pass, but we held them uh, both to a combined 22 points when usually one of them alone gets that. So I think we did a great job defensively, just holding down the fort and really making other guys beat us. Like they had a couple other guys hit some big shots and some big threes, but I mean, also with Foster Lawyer, he was pretty much a no-show the whole game. He
Sure.
didn't really, or yeah, sorry, I always say Foster. Um, but Fletcher, yeah, he was pretty much a no-show that game. So honestly, on their big three, I think we did a really great job defensively, not making it about them. So I
Yeah.
think that was really big in this game.
Yeah, my first positive and should be every Michigan State fan's positive. God bless Tom Izzo, man. He is the literal GOAT. He completely outcoached Matt Painter this game, completely. And especially at the end of the game when they had their play set up, and then, well, Matt Painter called the first timeout, set up their play. Izzo saw what they were doing, called his timeout, and the players executed perfectly. And just God bless Tom Izzo, man. I love that man. And then movement on offense, amazing. I mean, we were cutting when we were supposed to cut. We were moving the ball like really well. And we were driving to the hole. I even saw Jordan Scott drive to the hole. I hadn't really seen Jordan Scott drive like for a layup. Not really. He when he drives, it'll be a pump fake, one dribble pull up. That's usually his game. He doesn't really mess around in the paint area that much. And I even saw him drive, like I was talking about
He
earlier. I
got
even
that at a
saw,
big point in the game too. That was
yeah, I
our
even
second to
saw
last bucket. It was like our 74th
We even
point.
saw Cam Ward drive and create stuff. We saw Kurt Tang drive and create stuff. And it really opened up the floor when we were able to drive. And it also helped that we were hitting our shots, our threes, but we really came to play and we came out with intensity and we came out with a purpose. And I was really happy with that. Um,
One
what?
Sorry, I was just saying one crazy stat too that I forgot to talk about. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but with us winning the turnover battle 6-9, off of Purdue's 9 turnovers, we scored 19 points off of those turnovers. Like that's a crazy ratio for only having 9 turnovers, but us scoring nearly 20 points just off of those turnovers alone. So I think that was a huge swing in the game. I don't even know. I didn't write down how many points Purdue had off our turnovers, but off the top of my head, I don't really think there was any turnover that we had that led to like a fast break kind of like touchdown of a turnover. I think most of our turnovers, it was kind of a dead ball, but we
Yeah.
really took advantage of the few turnovers because they still had under 10. It's not like we forced them to turn over a lot, but we really took advantage of when they did turn the ball over to instantly
Well,
convert those into
I
points.
believe we scored some crazy number. Like I heard we scored 19 points off of their 9 turnovers.
That's what I just
Which
said, but yeah.
oh,
That's literally what I just said.
I wasn't paying attention too well.
Hey,
Uh,
man.
but yeah, no, that's it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Moving on to the negatives.
Yeah. One, I think the biggest thing for me that irritated me the most throughout the game, you can attest to this because we were watching the game together. I was screaming up and down about this, but just the unnecessary doubles that we kept sending in the post that just constantly led to easy buckets, especially to Clough in the first half. Like it was just we would Carson Cooper was doing a great job walling up and defending TKR. TKR was doing pivot after pivot after pivot and wasn't getting open looks. But then for some reason, we just sent Jackson Kohler over to double him, and then all TKR had to do was turn and dish it off, and Clough had an open layup. It was
Yeah.
either that or They had the ball in the post again. We're doing a good job walling up. They had nothing. Then we send over the double, and then they kick it out for an open three. And then it was just like our good defensive possession went for nothing. So I really don't like unless it's like Cam Boozer, like unless it's Cam Boozer, which we did like when we held them like 2 points in the first half when we played them, we were doubling, and then we singled them in the second half. That's when he got all his points. If unless it's someone like that, I understand saying double teams. We don't need to send double teams to Oscar Clough and TKR. Both of our guys are capable of stopping that.
Yeah.
So that
Um,
really irritated me throughout the game.
I wasn't a fan of it in the first half for sure because they weren't doing it right. They were fully on pressing TKR
Just
and
leaving the other
and
guy.
leaving the
Yeah.
other guy. So it caused a wide open layup because one, the guard that was supposed to be there couldn't get there in time, and two, if he was there in time, there was just a major size advantage, and Coop or not Coop Jackson couldn't get back. However, I really did like the way they played it in the second half. They didn't full on press them. They like kind of half did it. So they had like Coop on one side and Jackson was like there just in case he
Yeah,
went up. But
show, go back. Show,
yeah.
go back.
Well, it wasn't even necessarily go back. He was like just in the center of those two because he was able to step up if he was going up for a shot, and he was also able to be close enough to front where the guard was also in the back. So they couldn't just throw it over Jackson's head for a wide open layup. And I really liked how they made that adjustment instead of full on pressing him. They made him go halfway where that double team's still there and TKR couldn't create space. However, it was an open layup. So I really like the adjustment in the second half. However, the first half they were awful in that, and it led to way too many open layups. And but I'm glad they made that adjustment. Some other, do you have any other negatives?
Yeah, so to go along with that, I just think Clough had a really dominant like first 10 minutes of that first half or just first half in general.
I said it
Um,
was going to be a mismatch between him and Jackson if it was one
you
on one.
did, yeah. So like it was half that where he was just kind of going at him and getting what he wants because we weren't I feel like we doubled TKR when Cooper was not struggling with TKR, but we didn't help Jax when he was struggling with Clough. So like he got a lot of easy like 1v1 buckets, but he also was killing Jackson on the boards
Hmm.
in the first half. I think he only had 5 rebounds total, Clough did, but I think
I
at
think
least 4 of those came in the first half, and there were a lot of offensive like second chance rebounds that he had. And so it looked like from the start of the game, Clough was going to go off for 20 points that game. So we really struggled to contain him in the first half, but
yeah, Clough ended with 4 total rebounds.
that's crazy. And it felt like he had way more than that, just how the first half went. But
There was not a lot of rebounds this game. Like total, the team leader for both teams had 6 rebounds, and we didn't know none of the teams got to 30 rebounds. So, pretty interesting there. Um,
to go, sorry, I was just gonna say to go along with just the Clough, I just think I mean, I wanted to speak it into existence in our preview. I thought Jackson was going to have a big game this game, but he's just still struggling.
yeah.
Um, he struggled defensively, and he didn't. I think he had 3 rebounds. Yeah, 3 rebounds for Jackson Kohler. That's unheard of. And he shot 3 of 10 and 1 for 6 from three. A lot of those 3 pointers were just bad and
My
forced. And
gosh.
then
So that okay,
I
that
know
one
you'll.
three-pointer.
I wanted to say that for you to go into talking about it because we felt the same way about the
Oh my
back-to-back.
gosh, dude, that was ridiculous. Like we were both screaming at the TV. And the first one, first off, know the situation. We were up what, 4 with less than a minute to go.
It's probably
And
two. Honestly, I think it was
it was
two.
it was definitely under 2 minutes. But
I think it was we were up by two.
yeah, and so he, for one, why are you shooting the three when we're up? We have the time on our side. And I don't care. We had the shot clock on our side too. I don't care how open that shot is. Basketball IQ 101. Do not shoot that ball. And not only did he shoot it, but we got lucky enough to get the offensive rebound. And what does he do when our shot clock resets and now we're under a minute? He shoots it again. and then Purdue gets the ball with a chance to tie the game. Insane that a senior makes that level mistake. And regardless if you're a senior, like you'd expect maybe a freshman to make it, even then, it's you got to question the basketball IQ because that's if you know basketball, you're not taking that shot. I know it's a little different in the moment, but you got to know your situation. And for a senior to do that, one of our leaders to do that, I was very disappointed, and that very easily could have cost us the game. Obviously, it didn't. And I'm gonna be done talking about it because it didn't cost us the game, but very disappointing to see that from Jackson.
And then one thing that kind of goes into that too, is one, when we went up by 8 with 4 minutes left, I thought it was going to be comfortable. We could hold it from there. We instantly lost that lead, giving up open threes. We really struggled, like you talked about earlier. We ended up winning, even though they made 12 threes and shot 50%. But we can't do that. We can't allow we gave
They
up a
made
lot of
threes, not just shoot.
yeah, we gave up a lot of open looks, whether that just be breakdowns on screens. The one that really irritated me was Mr. Plus minus negative constantly. Down Mojic comes in the game instantly, and
All
just
right.
gets lost, just gets completely lost on the easy, like it was just the easiest screen on planet Earth, gets lost, then he over pursues, then he falls over, and then Fletcher Loyer gets a wide open three. Just stuff like that. Just a lot of just wide open with the doubles in the post, kicked out wide open threes, or just leaving dudes wide open. There was also another three really late in the game where um, Jeremy Fears got screened, and then Coop was supposed to hedge out and help him, and then Jeremy Fears was like way out of the play, and then he just kind of backed up and let Braden Smith shoot that. I think that was in the point we were up by 8, and then they just dwindled our lead down because we just gave up too many open looks. Um, and then just to finish that off, to go out and with it, they gave them way too many chances to win that game at the end. I think they had 3 straight chances to win in the final minute. We go down. Um, we get a we our defense, give credit to our defense. They made a bunch of great stops in a row. But we come down, I think it was when Jackson missed those back-to-back threes, and they came down um and missed. Then we go back down, we get a shot clock violation. We come back down because Cohen, we were holding the ball forever, and then Cohen
Yeah.
misses that shot with a shot clock violation. Then we go back down, play good defense on um, TKR. Cam Ward gets the rebound, gets fouled. Then we go down, miss the first free throw, and they come back down and they have a chance to win or tie it again. It was just back and forth. Like we couldn't make free throws, and we couldn't, just get one more bucket at the end of the game. We gave them like 2 or 3 chances to win the game at the end, and it was just like we were trying our very best to give them the win at the very end, and it was just really infuriating and scary at the same time. But
Yeah, definitely was. And as much like yeah, it was just a tough situation at the end because Cam was playing such good defense. Also, you gotta understand the situation a little bit because like we know he's not a good free throw shooter. We know that if he happens to get the rebound, they're gonna foul him right away, which is exactly what happened. And I mean, it's definitely a tough call. And honestly, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, Tom Izzo's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason. We're blessed to have him. And I think he did make the right call at the end of the game, prioritizing our defense instead of our offense because it won us the game. And yes, circumstances matter, and we know he can't shoot, but it won us the game, and we know defense matters more than offense. So that was kind of my thoughts about it.
yeah.
Um,
um,
so moving on to our next 3 games. How are we feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Hopefully they continue to ride this high of these last 3 games, especially coming off a massive win against Purdue. Um, a lot of us pessimistic MSU fans will say, "Oh, we beat Purdue, but now that just means we're going to go to Indiana on Sunday and then drop that one and then just lose all our momentum." So I'm hoping that's not the case. Indiana is on a currently on a 3-game losing streak with two 20-point losses, and then they just lost at home to Northwestern. So I'm hoping that Indiana is beat
Purdue.
up enough and uh, not confident enough to, you know, let us go to their place and grab one. And hopefully we just ride the high and continue to play well and not play down competition. Because you said earlier, we tend to play to competition, whether that's down or up above. Whenever we've played a good team this year, other than like I'd say Michigan, we've struggled the most against the top team, but all the other teams that we've played against that are in that top 25 or upper echelon, we've competed with or beat pretty handily. So um, hopefully they continue to ride this high going into Sunday. And then I feel good about Rutgers. I'll be on senior night. I will be there personally. I'm excited because I get to be in the I-Zone. My cousin gave me his I-Zone ticket because for some reason they scheduled senior night on spring break. So I don't know how the I-Zone's going to look. But I'm expecting us to win on senior night against Rutgers. God forbid if we have another game like we did against Rutgers at Rutgers, I'm going to lose my mind. And then Michigan, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, we can get some revenge on them. They just beat Illinois tonight as we are recording this game, so they just won the Big Ten outright, which is very unfortunate. So we're not going to hear the end of that, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, so I'm feeling good going to these last three games. Hopefully, we can continue this momentum going in to our Big Ten tournament and March Madness. That win last night was huge for our Big Ten tournament standings. Right now, I think we're sitting at number two after Illinois lost. I think we got the two seed in the Big Ten right now, so we'll have that double bye. So that's huge for us there. But what are your thoughts coming into the final stretch of the season here, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point of the season where we can look ahead, especially with the Big Ten loss now. We just got to take it one game at a time. That's the point of the season we're at. You can't think about seeding and think about, oh, like if we beat Michigan, you got to go to Indiana, take care of business. You got to go back home, play Rutgers, take care of business. Focus on Michigan, hopefully take care of business. And we're just at that final stretch where we really got to lock in, really got to fine tune some of our problems and go from there. But think that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you for watching and go green.
Go white, baby. Huge dub. Let's keep this going. Let's go.